That's right. Now, wouldn't it be so glorious, though, if we could think about who we are, that we are God's anointed, that He has anointed us for that purpose, see, so that we can go through that suffering, and the fact that especially when there are people involved in our experience, we love on that person, even during the suffering period, even while we're going through it. But there is a particular type of love that we have to understand that we need. It's not just love. See, because if there are people involved, and you don't have this particular type of love that the Greeks call what? Agape love. See, agape love. Let's put this here: suffering and agape love. All right? Suffering and agape love. I have suffered, but suffering and agape love. Because, see, when people are involved in your suffering, if they seem to be the agent of the enemy, all right, who is bringing the suffering on, no matter how excruciating it may be, or no matter how light it may just be a light affliction. But there are people that you know, people that you love, people that you have interacted with, and now all of a sudden these people that you've interacted with and you've been able to understand them and they've been able to understand you, all of a sudden it seems that they become the agent of the one who is sending the suffering. You get the picture here? How do you manage to deal with that kind of suffering experience and still love on these folks? There is only one way you can do that, because this type of love is an unconditional love. It says that you love them no matter what the circumstances is. In spite of. See, you're going to love them even though you understand. They may not understand, but you understand that they're just an agent.
That's the hard part.
That's the hard part right there. That's right. And you want to call them a demon. You want to call them the devil. They become the devil. And if you let them be the devil, if you label them as the demon, guess what? Your love is not going to remain love. And if it does remain love, you're going to be in the valley for a long time. See, the enemy attacks you where you are most vulnerable. He understands that all of us need an income. Huh?
Yes.
All of us need a place to live.
Yes.
If there's any place in the world that you want to have peace, is in your home. I mean, after you've gone through the battle on your job, you've gone through it in the office, you've gone through it doing business, whatever it is, the business relationship happens to be, you've gone through that. When you get home, you want to kick your feet up and relax.
Yes.
But as soon as you kick your feet up, guess what? Suffering comes knocking on your door. That's one of them. But let me just show you something here about this agape love. Because it tells us that it suffereth long. Suffereth long. Let's not forget that. And the Amplified says endureth long. See, and the Jewish Bible says that it endureth for as long as it needs to. Forever. See, there is no limit as to how long it does. Now, the Greeks have another word for this word called long or endureth. And it's a compound word. Let me first write the word out. It is I don't know if you can see this well or not. All right. Now, that's a Greek word, all right? So don't worry about it. It's pronounced better like this. Mac, cross, which means long distance. Can you see that? Can you see that already?
Yes.
The first part of the word, I said it's a compound word. So this word here, macrothumia, is pronounced macros. First part of it, macros, which means long distance. All right. Now the word thumos means anger. Anger. Or it also means becoming emotional or spiritually indignant.
My God.
Spiritually indignant. This is what happened to Jesus when he came into the temple.
That's right.
All right? And he saw that his house was being used
That's right.
as a den of thieves. And the Bible says that when he walked, this is at the beginning of his ministry.
Yes.
And he wanted to clear out those folks who were abusing his house. And he comes in not because he didn't love them. He loved them, and he loved his father, and he loved his father's house. So he had an object that he loved on, or objects that he loved on. He does what he does not because he hates them or doesn't like them, but he wanted to love them and explain to them, express his love to them in a long distance manner, but also with anger. With anger. Spiritual indignation sometimes is an expression that has to be used to bring out the love factor, especially when we're going to do it for a long distance, especially when it's going to endure, when that love is going to be love that endures, the agape love that is going to endure. Now, I wouldn't say that you need to do this in your home. Don't go home, and break up the dishes to express your love.
All right.
Don't get a whip and start beating on your spouse because something is happening there that you don't like. That's not what I'm talking about. See? Jesus knew what he had to do to correct, to bring about a correction in the actions of these people who had abused his house, his father's house. So what did he do? He took a cord, he made a whip, and this was not the type of characteristics that you would expect Jesus to express. Because the Bible says he's mild, he's meek, he's humble, all right? When he was reviled, he reviled not again. It says all those things about Jesus Christ. But there came a time when he had to use some anger to express his love. Now, he was using the anger not so much against the people as much as against the fact that they were used or being used as an agency, you understand, of the enemy. They were actually being used, and actually they were being abused. They may not have understood that they were being abused, but they were actually being abused of the enemy to do what they were doing. So he became emotional. He became heated, spiritually indignant on behalf of that thing that he loved. He was acting on behalf of his father and his father's house. And he had to become emotional in order to express the love.